Hey everyone, it's Cathy Alessandra, the Yes I Can coach, and you are here for another episode of Yes I Can Living. So excited that you have joined us here on the podcast. If you have not yet subscribed to the magazine, be sure to hop on over to yesicanliving.com. Our first print edition is coming out, and we are sending that out complimentary, so you'll want to be sure to get on that list. And of course, we have all kinds of great articles that are posting regularly over on the site, all kinds of trends and tips and resources. In fact, you will find an article or two over there from Angela Dorsey, today's guest on the podcast too. So let me introduce Angela and we will get going here. So Angela Dorsey is the founder of Dorsey Wealth Management, which is a fee-only financial planner in Torrance specializing in women and their families. Angela is a certified financial planner and a registered investment advisor. She is a member of the National Association of Personal Financial Advisors. I don't know why, I guess I'm talking too much coffee this morning. Angela has a certificate in financial planning from the College of Financial Planning, an MBA from the Anderson School of Management at UCLA, and a BS in computer science from Loyola Marymount University. I really have. She created Dorsey Wealth Management because of her lifelong passion for financial planning and helping others to better understand and organize their finances, then put them into a place to be able to achieve their goals. So Angela, welcome to the show today.
Thanks so much, Cathy. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, I'm thrilled to have you here. I definitely want to dive into the money conversation in a minute because I know there's a lot of concern and worry about the money, but let's take a moment first and talk about why you started your business.
Well, I really started my business for two reasons. First of all, I've always had a passion for financial planning. When I was a little girl, I would actually read Money Magazine, believe it or not. I was really weird. I had a little tin box that I would put my money in and I would count my money, and I just found it fascinating how money grows, how you could spend money and what you can do with money. You can use it for good things, you can use it for bad things. You know, you can really help it to achieve your goals. You can also spend it to not achieve your goals. So I just found it really fascinating, the whole energy behind money. And so as I went through my career, I spent 20 plus years in the HR field as a compensation consultant. So I was, coaching VPs and managers on how to pay their people. And this passion for financial planning just didn't go away. It just kept nagging at me. And at the same time, I noticed that a lot of my coworkers who were really smart, ambitious women really didn't know a lot about their finances. So they were working really hard and earning a lot of money, but really didn't know what I thought were the basics. And so I soon realized that what came natural to me just doesn't come natural to everyone, and that, there's really a need for people like me to help women. And then I also found out that well, first of all, there's not a lot of female financial advisors. And then many women who do have a financial advisor, they really don't connect well with them or feel that they can relate or understand. So they sit down with their financial advisor and they leave not knowing a word of what the person just said. And it's really not about them. It's about the markets. It's about performance. And for women, we're so goal oriented. We want to know, will I have enough money to retire? Will I be able to do the things I want to do? So it has to be meaningful. It has to tie back to something meaningful. So with all of that, I just thought, wow, I really want to be a financial planner. And I also wanted to be self-employed. I really wanted the freedom and flexibility of being self-employed. And with all those things coming together, I just reached a point where it's like, I'm either going to do this or I'm not. So I actually started my practice while working full time and got a couple of clients. And at that point, I thought, okay, it's now or never, take the leap. And I did, and I never looked back.
I love it. I love it. Well, we've known each other for, I don't know, probably 8-10 years, something like that. And I'm guessing, but yeah, and the way that you focus in on, and the fact that your niche, you have specifically the niche of working with women and helping empower them with their numbers, which is so, so important. Let me ask you this, as you've gone through your business and things have gone up and down, what's been one of the biggest challenges you've had and how have you overcome that?
Well, like I said, I spent 20 plus years in the corporate area. So making that leap to become an entrepreneur, to have your own
Mhm.
business, it's a huge leap. And I really didn't know. You don't know what you don't know, which
Right.
is a good thing. I'm glad I didn't know. The challenges of running a business, oh my gosh, you're everything. And I think for me, just mentally getting my head wrapped around that I am the one making the decisions, and to have confidence in my decisions, to not only be a financial planner. For me, being a financial planner is the easy part. The hard part is running a business, and to have the confidence to make decisions that, in terms of the strategy behind the business and how to best reach, your clients and all that. I really didn't know that my greatest challenge would be non-financial, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
I did join an organization that helps people transition to become a financial planner, to have a financial planning practice, which helped immensely. But I think just emotionally and mentally, sometimes it is still something that I struggle with.
Mhm.
Just all the many decisions, and now I have assistants, and how do I best help them to help me and guide them, but yet give them freedom to grow. And
Mhm.
it's constant, and I guess that kind of sums up my biggest challenge, just how to run a business,
Mhm.
and also the fact that it never really stays the same. There's always a new challenge. So once you figure something out, then there's another challenge around the
Something
corner.
else, right?
But
Yeah.
it's really great. I'm really, at the end of the day, I'm just so grateful to be able to have this business, because I've grown in ways I've never thought possible.
Mhm.
And it's just such a source of pride and joy for me to have such a meaningful work to do.
Right. Right. Oh, I love that. So let's talk a little bit more about the actual work. And we're in a time like none other in the world right now. And the stock markets have been going crazy, and there's a lot of uncertainty about the future, and there's a lot of talk about recession or depression or whatever, right, whatever's coming. And as a woman who is looking at all this, and or actually is anybody looking at all this and figuring out, what's next, what should I be doing, what shouldn't I be doing. Let's talk a little bit about, where you see things going potentially, or what maybe we should do. What's something that we, every person should do? Like, I don't know, have a savings account, or I don't know, whatever.
Yes, yes. Well, those are a lot of questions.
Sorry, yes.
Each question could be a separate podcast. Well, let me just start by saying there's two things that drive the stock market: fear and greed. And
Mm,
right now, fear is driving the stock market. Today, the market is up. Well, the last time I checked, 500 points. The Dow was up 500 points in the hopes of a stimulus package. Well, tomorrow, we may find out that, we may not get it. Then it'll be down 500, 800 points. So the point is, we really have no control over the market. And so what's important is to focus on what you can control. And for us, it's having a plan, and which means specifically knowing where you want to go. And so focusing on things like having a budget. You should really have a budget and know what your spending looks like. You should have, especially during these times, cash is king. You should have a savings account with an emergency fund. I used to say 3 to 6 months in an account that's kind of put aside as an emergency fund. Now I'm saying 6 months to a year, because we're living in such uncertain times, that having some certainty is good.
mhm.
And so with that, but in terms of investing, don't try and time the market. If you have money to invest, go ahead and invest now. Just invest in a smart way, which means I love mutual funds, and mutual funds are collections of stocks instead of an individual stock.
Mhm.
And so with a mutual fund, it's very well diversified. And I would highly recommend, if someone wants to dive into the stock market, that they do so, but in a way where you're properly diversified and that the fees are low. For example, if you want to do it yourself, I highly recommend Vanguard. Like, go to Vanguard and create, and they can help you create a well-diversified portfolio of low-cost index funds. And you just set it and forget it, and don't let the day-to-day drama make you want to sell. And that's really what it is. They want to get you all, riled up and emotional, and one day it's like buy, the next day sell. And so you cannot build long-term wealth like that. You just have to set your goals, set your strategy, and just stick with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was so true. Back in March, when it looked like the sky was falling, March, April, those were very, very ugly months for so many reasons,
Mm-hmm.
including the stock market. And I just kept telling my clients, hang in there. We're not selling. We're just stick with your plan. We have a plan, just stick with it. And when it comes to investing, not taking action based on emotions is one of the best things you can do.
Mm-hmm. That goes so true with so many things in life, right? But definitely, I mean, I think it's easy to get in that fear place and sell or whatever. And just the idea is for the stock market to put it in and hold on to it.
Yes,
I
yes.
mean, I guess there's other strategies too, higher risk, I would imagine. But
yes, but take the long-term view. Like if you have money that you don't need for the next couple of years, take the long-term view and invest it. If you need it for the short term, or if you need it for a down payment on a home, to pay off debt, anything that's say 5 years or less, I would not put that in the stock market. I would keep that in a savings account, maybe some CDs. The interest rates are pretty low, so you're not going to make that much money right now off of it. But the point is that money will be there for you and it'll be safe. So, if it's short term, don't put it in the market, because the ups and downs will make you too nervous and you'll sell at the wrong time and it'll just not be good.
not the good one. What is it? I think a lot of people think you need to have millions and millions of dollars to get into the stock market. What would be a number that you could reasonably, do something with?
$100.
Wow. Okay.
I say start. Like for kids, if they have $100, if they have $50, open up a little account for them so they could see their money grow.
Mm-hmm.
No amount is too small as long as it's long-term and you're not counting on it for anything in the near term. So, and I say $100 because it's such a low amount, meaning that any time is a great time to invest. And I think with Vanguard, some of their minimums are $100 to open up an account. Some are $3,000. It depends.
Mm-hmm.
So don't let the fear of, gosh, I've got to have $1 million before I get started, or I've got to have 500,000. No, that's not true. If you really want to get started, just start with what you have and start now. But make sure it's part of a plan. For example, just know why you're investing. Like, this money is for my retirement. I'm starting now. Mm-hmm. And don't get caught up in, gosh, I should have done this 10 years ago. I should have done this 20 years ago. It doesn't matter. All we have is now. And just start with where you are and what you have. And just do it. I see procrastination as one of the biggest problems, especially with women, because we want everything to be perfect. It's not the right time. I'm so busy. Start now. Start with what you have. And next year you'll be glad you did, and just add to it.
Right. And that's great advice. I went through a divorce, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago now, and really had never done any of this because of my ex-husband's profession. He had handled all of that. And so really, going to school on what it's all about, and, what money should go in, what shouldn't, and just empowering myself with that information. And I feel like, as long as I've known you, that's, you're really on a mission to help women, empower them with their money and help them manage it and get informed, and, so that they know what to do with it and how to go about it and take control of it. I mean, right?
Absolutely. And the more I do this, the more passionate I feel, because as I get more and more, meet with clients, I hear stories that just really make me, really gets me riled up. And I just see more and more a need to get help, for women, and really, and you mentioned that word empower, and that's what it's about. For women who may not manage their finances or manage the family's finances, maybe someone else manages it. I would say for them, the first step should be to just get engaged and just find out what accounts do you have.
Mm-hmm.
Just become informed. What accounts do you have? How much is it? Where are the accounts located? Do you have an IRA at Vanguard and a 401k at Fidelity, a brokerage account at Schwab? What do you have? And if someone else is managing that money for the family, ask to have maybe, oh gosh, every 6 months, sit down and just go over the accounts. And not that you're questioning them or anything, but you just want to know, you just want to learn. And you may be surprised that they'll be happy that you're taking an interest.
Mm-hmm.
It goes both ways. Sometimes, a man will give me a call and he'll say, I'm looking for a female financial advisor because my wife is just not, she knows nothing about the accounts. And if something happened to me, I'm really worried about that.
Yeah.
And so he wants her to be more engaged. And so I think to sit down, with your spouse once or twice a year and go over a net worth statement, meaning, on a piece of paper, just write down everything that you own, your assets, your bank accounts, investment accounts. And it could be small, it doesn't have to be a lot, but just know that they exist,
Mm-hmm.
is a big step. And then on the right-hand side, what do you owe? Many times I hear that something will happen and then one spouse will find out that they're in quite a bit of debt and they didn't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, putting that on the right-hand side and then seeing what the net is, what is your net worth? And going over that, I think once or twice a year minimum, just to be informed, I think goes a long way.
Yeah, for sure. Now you are, for those who maybe don't understand what a financial planner does, because you're different than you're a registered investment advisor as well, right? But what a financial planner, you're actually helping somebody plan the money plan for their future, right? Can you explain a little bit more about that for maybe somebody who's not quite familiar with it?
Yes, absolutely. There's a lot of confusion out there about, well, what is a financial planner? What is an investment advisor? Are they the same? They're very different, very different. And some are more just salespeople. So there's a lot of, because anyone can call themselves a financial advisor, but they may not have the credentials to back it up. And so a financial planner like myself, we look at the big picture of what you're trying to accomplish with your money. So we look at your goals, we look at what accounts you have, are they invested properly to support your goals? And so I really take a holistic approach to your finances, and I work with my clients on everything. I help them with, I mentioned goal setting, making sure that their cash flow supports their lifestyle. They don't know where their money's going, and helping them understand where it's going so that it could support their goals. Maybe we can kind of siphon off a bit to automatically go into a savings account. I love automating things. That way, for sure it'll get saved. I look at retirement planning and making sure that they're not going to run out of money. If there's a gap, well, what can we do now to address that gap? And then estate planning, insurance, and tax planning. And then everything else that comes up, like, should they refinance their home? Should they sell their rental property? Should they do this? So it's all those decisions. And I found that a lot of women, they come to me and they know they need help, but they can't put a name on it. They say, I just need help with everything, my finances. I just need help. I just need someone to help me. And so that's what I do. So it's comprehensive financial planning versus, say, an investment advisor where you open up an account, they give you a risk assessment, they put your money in their brokerage with their brokerage firm, and then maybe you hear from them once a year, maybe, just to tell you what the performance is, but they don't really know you.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know your family. They don't know your goals. See, for me, the investment piece supports the financial planning. You lead with financial planning, And then the investments should help you achieve that. You know, what rate of return do you need?
Right.
You know, don't take more risk than you need. If a 5% rate of return will get you to where you want to go, then let's set up your portfolio where it's lower risk and it's 5%. If it's more, well, you know, are we able to take on that risk? You know, hopefully generate a higher rate of return. So it's a whole different way of approaching finances, depending on what you're looking for. Some people don't want the financial planning. They just want to put their money in an account and that's it. They don't really want all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a place for all types. It just matters. It just depends on what it is you're trying to accomplish.
Right. Okay. All right. Great. So let's step back into the business aspect of things for just another second. You know, if there was, you know, one thing you knew that you know now in business that you wish you'd known when you started, what would that be? Like, what would you tell your younger self?
Oh my gosh.
Open up an investment account. That's what I would tell myself, but that's.
Oh yes. Oh my
But,
gosh. What would I do? So what would I tell my younger self who's starting a practice?
yeah. Now, from you know your wealth of knowledge now, what do you wish you'd known when you started?
I would say to trust myself more,
Mm-hmm.
because many decisions that I'm making now are decisions or thoughts I had years ago, but I just didn't have the confidence to act on it.
Right.
And so I took baby steps, and maybe I could have taken bigger steps to get to where I am now. I'm a pretty conservative person, so I don't know if that would have happened, but I think trusting myself, trusting my intuition.
Yeah.
Because normally my intuition is correct in terms of what I should do. And get feedback, get advice, but don't ask 100 people what they
Right.
think.
Yes, that's a great great tip for sure, because we can get caught up in asking for everybody's approval and we're not going to get it, right?
You're not going to get it, and you'll get 100 different answers, and then at the end of the day you're just not happy with any of them. And
Right.
why? Because they're not the answer you were hoping to get.
Right. Yeah. But I love the
Yeah.
following your intuition. That's an important one too. I mean, I think there's a lot of times, especially as women, we hold back and we don't take that risk or say yes or do something because, you know, we're more afraid and we're pushing down that gut feeling or that intuition. So, okay. So Angela, if somebody was wanting to connect with you and maybe, you know, talk about some numbers or financial planning with you, where would they find you? Where would they go?
They could go to my website, dorseywealth.com.
Okay.
They can email me. One thing they could do on my website is schedule a 30-minute introductory phone call. Someone can go in and schedule a call that's convenient for them, and we can just talk about it. It's no pressure, no self. I'm a very laid back, no pressure person. That's part of my thing, you know. I'm just so laid back in terms, because I don't like to be pressured. And so if someone wants to just talk about their situation and see if there's value for them in working together,
Mm-hmm.
or if they have, you know, maybe I can help them. Sometimes it's really a quick, simple thing. You know, I could just help someone, because I really am passionate about this. And, you know, if I could just help someone, maybe they're not a good fit, but I could kind of direct them in the right direction,
Right.
you know, in a 30-minute phone call, that's great, you know.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
they can go in and schedule a 30-minute phone call, or if they're not even ready for that, they can go to my website and download my resource. It's an ebook to help you plan for a secure future, and it really outlines what I do for clients regularly to help them figure out, you know, where they want to go and what they need to do to get there.
Awesome. Okay. And again, that's dorseywealth.com.
Yes.
You find you over there and get that. Yeah. Hop on over there and get that ebook for sure. Sounds like a great tool to start with if you're just not even sure what to do next. So, okay. So let me finish up our interview with a question I always ask at the end, everybody. It's what makes you a yes, I can woman?
Oh, boy. You know, okay. Oh, I love that question. I was not prepared for that. You know what makes me a yes, I can woman is I have learned that if I want to do something, I just do it now.
Mhm.
You know, um, my yes, I can is I may feel a little fear, I may feel a little nervous, but I'm not going to let that stop me because if I have the desire to do something, that means I have the ability to do it. And I just go ahead and pursue whatever it is. And that goes back to making those decisions for the business. I just do it. You know, I fight through the fear and just do it. And I tell you, when I do that, it usually turns out pretty well.
Yeah, I love that. Just do it. Just do it. Right through the fear and keep on going. And that's what Yes, I Can is all about.
That's right. That's
Right?
right. And
Yes,
that's the
I
only
can.
way.
Right? And look that fear in the face and saying it. Angela, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your expertise and some tips for, the whole financial planning and what we really need to be thinking about right now on our money aspect. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Cathy. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, you bet. And for those of you who have tuned in, thank you for joining us again for another episode. We will be back next week with another episode of Yes, I Can Living. In the meantime, be sure to connect with us over on our Facebook page or even our Facebook group, Yes, I Can Women, where we have constant interaction and lots of engagement, fun questions, connection, and collaboration. So until we see you again, I hope you live your yes, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much, and bye-bye.